Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm here today with my husband. This is Jason. Jason, say hi.
Hi.
This is a little weird for us. So we're coming together today. People have asked us to do a video a little about us and how we met, and we have a dating story. Is kind of fun. So that's what we're doing. Just trying to introduce you to us and our family a little bit at a time. So
I don't know. Yeah, I guess we're gonna start on it. It's kind of, I mean, it's not like amazing, but it's fun.
It's a fun story. So we've been married for 15 years, and we have 4 girls. But we met
at Utah State University
in Logan, Utah, northern Utah. And he grew up in Alaska, and I grew up in Logan by Utah State. And he came to school at Utah State a year before I did, I think.
Something like that. I was down there a year before, or like half a year before you started school or whatever.
Yeah, his grandpa lived down there, so he would kind of live with his grandpa on and off, and we can talk about that. But so that's what brought him down there to go to school. So how we met is kind of...
Well, we had a good friend, Brad, and he was married to Heather. Cool couple. They had a lot of classes with us, so they knew both of us separately. And they decided to get together with, have a bunch of guys show up, a bunch of girls, go to somebody's apartment, and then, so we're at the apartment, you know, a bunch of guys, a bunch of girls were supposed to be there.
Yeah. So when I got there, there were about 9 guys there with Brad and his wife Heather. And I thought it was a little bit odd that there were no girls there yet. But I just kind of figured that they would be fashionably late. And, yeah, they didn't ever show up. I was the only girl who showed up. But
I came.
You came like a half hour later.
Right.
And we had all been playing games. And he walked in and he's like, "Oh, really, Brad? We're going to play games again? Let me guess. We're going to go to A&W for dinner?"
No, come on.
Yeah, you were.
Don't make that. We never went to A&W. You're making that up.
No, we did go to A&W.
We went to A&W, but like
You never went?
Never something we didn't do all the time.
Okay. Anyway, so he showed up.
Dana likes to add things to stories sometimes.
No, I don't. So, at that point when he got there, we realized that there weren't going to be any more girls that were going to show up. And so we all went to A&W Root Beer to get burgers and fries and root beer. And,
we just kind of loaded into cars.
Yeah, loaded into cars, but the guys didn't even, like, pay attention to the fact that I didn't have a ride. They all just left, and so Jason took me.
We left together.
Yeah, but anyway, got to the restaurant, and again, the guys weren't very cordial, so they all got their food ahead of me, and they didn't even pay attention. They all sat down by themselves, and they ate their food. I didn't even have my food until, like, 3 of them were done eating. And so Jason and I sat together, and we talked, and had a good dinner. Yeah. It was fun, and then we drove back to the house, and...
A&W's good. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
We just kind of hung out and talked.
Yeah, it was like normal. It was just like a normal date,
yeah.
like just getting to know you. And then we went back to the house and put a movie on to watch. And, I just kind of sat down on the couch in the middle. I'm like, okay, what guy wants to sit next to me? I just kind of left it open. And literally we had only talked like for, 30 minutes or something at the restaurant.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, okay, he's my date now. So it was just kind of like open to like whoever else was there. And another guy sat down next to me. His name was Jeff. And started watching the movie. And
he sat down behind you on the couch. So you were on the floor and he sat behind you.
Yeah.
It was all like...
Oh, let me give you a back massage.
Shoulders and everything.
Come up here on the couch, sit next. Let me give you a massage. And I'm
like, it was a little odd.
It was a little odd. So he massaged my back for a very large majority of the movie. And at one point we kind of paused the movie. A
little intermission.
To go get a snack and get water. And I had asked Jeff to go and get me a drink. And kind of eyeballed Jason from the corner.
Well, I could tell it was like awkward, so I was just like...
The guy had been like massaging my back, and I don't know who this guy is for like 45 minutes.
It was odd, so I was made jokes of who was sitting where, so I... Oh, that's a call.
Sorry. And so I kind of eyed him, and I was like, help me. And so as I'm sitting on the couch and Jeff is getting me a drink, Jason is walking back from the kitchen, and I'm like patting the couch. I'm like, come and sit next to me so that Jeff doesn't come and...
Well, no, I just pretended like we were going, my turn.
Yeah, I'm going to...
And so I sat down on the floor, and so you were on the couch. And so I took the space. That's where
our stories are different.
Because I took the space so that he couldn't sit next to you.
No. That's not what happened.
And then we switched around after a little bit.
This is why it's funny, because our stories are so different. I'm sitting on the couch. Jason's walking toward the couch. Jeff sees that Jason's walking toward the couch, and he literally, like, jumps over the couch to sit next to me on the couch. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy isn't going to let me go. So Jason sits down on the floor in front of me.
So then you'd have to, okay, now you massage my shoulders.
Right, so he said, oh, Dana, massage my shoulders.
How's that different than my story?
Because Jeff was sitting next to me again on the couch. Okay, and so I'm massaging, like, turn the movie on, massaging his shoulders, whatever. I didn't even, like, necessarily, nothing against Jason. I'm like, I need to distract this guy from, like, massaging my back. Oh, no. He massaged my back for another 45 minutes, like, relentlessly. He wouldn't stop. Meanwhile, I'm massaging his back, or his shoulders, and trying to get this guy off my back, literally. And he wouldn't stop. And it was really awkward, little three-way massaging session. It was really, really awkward, but the movie ended, and Jason offered to take me home.
We hung out a little bit, and then it was like it was their apartment.
Yeah, it was Jeff's apartment.
So we're just kind of hanging out, and time, everybody's kind of starting to take off.
Yeah.
It was these guys' apartment, so I live somewhere else, so it just sort of worked out that I would take you.
Jeff didn't like that. He's like, oh no, I'll take her home, and we were both like,
it didn't make sense because it's like,
Jeff, you live here.
You live here, like what? I'll just take her. So anyways, I took you home. We just chatted on the way home, right?
Yeah, it was like normal, just go home. Yeah. Not a big deal. So this is where our story is kind of different. So we're gonna let him explain his side of it. Well, we can talk about like.
So anyways.
Well, yeah, I'll let him explain the beginning of the date.
So basically, the next day or a couple days later, I get a call from Brad, and Brad was like, so, what'd you think of Dana? Did you have fun talking to her and everything like that? And I was like, yeah, she's cool, and I'll probably ask her out, something like that. But I was kind of a wuss, I'll admit it. I just wasn't the type of guy that just, I don't know, not very gutsy. So Brad's like, okay, cool, well, what if I talk to her for you? And I was like, well, sure, I guess. So then Brad's like, okay, I'll talk to you in a bit. So he hangs up with me, and I just sit and kind of wait. And then a little while later, I get a phone call, and Brad calls back, and he's like, hey, I talked with Dana, and she said she'd go out with you. So you can ask her out. And I'm like, well, I guess that's kind of a home run, so why not? So he took all the hard work out of it. So I called her, I think at work, and asked her out, and decided, okay, this is cool, we'll go out. And we decided, we'll pick something to go do.
Okay, so I don't know if it was the next day or probably the next week. I'm at work, and I worked at Wendy's, and it was very college job-ish. And I get a phone call, and it's not really okay for us to take phone calls when we're at work. And the phone is like right in the middle of the back room of the restaurant, and in front of everyone, in front of my managers, in front of the whole crew. The phone rings. Dana, there's a boy on the phone for you. So everyone like stops and looks at me, and I answer the phone, and it's Brad, and he's like, hey, Jason wants to ask you out. Are you interested? And I was like, how like middle school is this that he has to have a guy call me to see if it's okay to ask him out? But I said, yeah, that would be great. Just have him call me sometime. So I gave him my phone number. I said it was okay for him to give Jason my phone number. And I hung up the phone, and everyone cheered, and yay, you're gonna get a date. And it was embarrassing. And but my manager, she's like, I don't think we should take personal phone calls at work. Well, like 5 minutes later, Jason calls. Hey, Dana, you have another boy on the phone for you. And so then it was Jason, and he called and he asked me out. And again, got off the phone, and yay, Dana got a date. And clearly I didn't get dates very often in front of my coworkers. So they thought that was kind of funny. Okay, so we got to our date. I think you called me like on a Friday or Thursday or Friday or something. I mean,
there was some sort of like concert thing going on up at the campus. So
we thought, even though it was a Sunday, we don't really date and do things on Sundays, just religious purposes. But this concert was on campus. Sorry, my nose is really itchy. This concert was on campus, and we thought, okay, that's kind of a safe date on a Sunday. It was nice and calm.
Whatever, something to do.
I was dressed up nice to go to a concert. Picked me up.
I dressed better than the flannel.
Yeah, you did. You wore corduroy pants, and you look nice. Yeah. So he picked me up, and we went over to campus, and there's no concert.
Yeah, like, we pull up, and like the parking lot's
completely empty, dark.
I'm thinking, are we a little early? What's going on? So we got out and we walked up. So I remember walking around, opening the door for you, and we started walking up. And I remember thinking, like, if this is canceled, I am so screwed. And so we walk up, and there's like a sign that says, unfortunately it was postponed or canceled or something like that. And all I'm thinking is, I
just ruined my whole first date.
This is gonna suck.
Yeah. And I don't know if I don't know. Part of, so the concert is canceled. And we couldn't, just because we're Mormon, and in our religion
we don't go to movies, we don't do other things like that.
Yeah, we don't go out to restaurants and movies and activities on Sunday aside from church and being with family and whatnot.
So what do you do in a small town if you can't do those things
on a Sunday night?
So it's like, all right,
yeah.
So I'm in my mind, I'm just kind of panicking, like, oh great.
And I was kind of panicking, but I was a little bit more laid back than he was. I wasn't too concerned about it. I was like, it's okay, let's just go for a drive. It was February. I think it was the end of January, February. And so it was cold, so we just thought we would go for a drive. So we drove around campus a little bit.
Because we were talking about how, like, I came down for vacations as a little kid. And so we're talking about how much I knew the place and how she grew up there. Because campus is only 2 miles away from my mom, where I grew up. Yeah, it's a small town. It's a cool little small college town.
Yeah.
So we're just talking about that. And so she's explaining, talking about, hey, do you know about this, know about that, stuff.
So we just kind of drove around showing him, I don't know, little things of the campus and whatnot.
Just trying to come up with something to do. And then finally, like...
Well, I said, I know a great place that has a good view. I don't even know if I said a good view,
I know a good place to go. And,
so I directed him up a road.
Yeah, and we're driving, and so there's like along the mountains and everything, and we're driving, and we're getting, there's fewer and fewer houses as we're going. And I'm just thinking in my mind, like, we're going to some, like, lookout point, and I'm like, man, these small town girls move fast. So I
drove him to a lookout point, and I was naive, and it
was kind of romantic, because, the sun's going down, the mountains are there.
You can see the entire valley.
The lights are starting to, like, lighten up stuff, so it was kind of cool.
Yeah, so we talked there for like an hour. We stayed and talked for
we chatted, quite a while. Kind of just talking about things.
And just parked the car, but nothing happened.
Yeah.
And so then he's like, oh, well, I feel bad that we, didn't get to do anything on a date. Do you want to go back to my apartment and we'll just watch a movie? And that was fine. So we went back to his apartment and watched Far and Away. And he's like, well, I already know how to tickle your back. I'm going to tickle your back. And so he took my back. And it was like a very innocent date.
I hope they were all innocent, but whatever.
Well, no. But like, anyway.
It was just a good date, getting to know each other, hanging out. Things didn't go as planned, but we were able to have fun time. Just, making something.
So he drove me home. And again, this is where our stories differ on kind of what happened. So I'll let him explain his version, and then I'll explain my version.
So, we finished the date. I'm taking her home, and I drive up. She lives in a little circle, so I drive up, park. I walk her to the door, it's a nice thing to do. So, I've never kissed anybody on the first date, ever, okay? I dated a few girls in high school, a couple years, stuff like that. But I never kissed anybody on the first date. So anyways, we walk up to the door. I had no intention of kissing her. We're talking, hey, it was fun, talking, just normal talk. But her vibe that she's giving up, I was trying to like, okay, I had fun. Well, let's do this again. So we were both saying some good stuff like that. But she was just like, she's at the door. She's like, oh yeah, I had fun. Turn and walk in anytime she could. But she didn't. She just kept kind of standing there. So anyways, I felt like she was giving off the vibe that she wanted a kiss. So I, with my hands down, just kind of closed, I just kind of leaned in to give like a little kiss. Next thing I know, and she'll probably differ, next thing I know, her arms are around me and total like, a big kiss. Which was fine. I mean, first kisses can often be awkward, whatever. It wasn't bad, but it was just surprising. And so, that was our first kiss.
My version of what happened on the front porch, and we'll clarify this in heaven. We joke that we will watch this video in heaven and we'll get to see who is right. And let's be honest, women, it's usually the wife. So, I don't remember too much. We walked up to the porch and I wasn't expecting anything. I was 19, I was young, and I hadn't actually ever been kissed before. And so I didn't have any expectation of that at all. And just standing on the porch, and the next thing I know, he's totally like giving me a kiss and like arms around me, and I just am so shocked. So I'm not enjoying it very much. And it was all new to me and I didn't know what to do. And anyway, so he gave me a hug and then like he left, and I remember going inside and shutting the door and kind of sitting down on the floor because there's 2 glass panels on the sides of the door. So I didn't want him to see me walk past those windows, and I just sat down on the floor and I just was not happy with how it went, and I was grossed out by it because it was new to me and it was like I don't know, it wasn't very fun. But we just joke that like he thinks I came at him like a cougar and took him to a make-out point and then lunged at him for a kiss on the front porch. But that's not how it happened. He just had better moves than I did, and he won't admit it.
So after the first date,
then it was pretty seamless. Like we just dated. Like it was not even weird at all at that point.
Yeah, we just started kind of going out, doing stuff.
That first little chunk of time wasn't.
We had a lot of fun. That year, just kind of dating and stuff. So during the summers, I go back up to Alaska and work and stuff. So I remember toward the end of school, we went to a park that went by your house, and we're just talking like, so I'm gonna be leaving this summer.
And I didn't think anything of it because I was like, well, it's only like 2.5 months, 3 months or whatever.
But
I'm not going to Timbuktu, so I just thought, okay, well,
it was cool. I thought she handled it really cool, mature, and everything. So all right, she's cool. And so then,
of course, I missed him, but like I knew he had to go.
And I don't know, did email not exist or something?
Oh no, it existed, and so did like pen and paper, and so did the phone. But he did not write me all summer.
Not the best at that.
No.
Not the best at that.
No, he wouldn't, so that made me sad. So by the end of the summer, going into the next semester of school, I was pretty ticked off. And I remember seeing him when he came back.
We said hi.
We said hi. His birthday was right after
getting back to school.
So I had taken him a birthday present. And then...
Well, we weren't really dating or anything like that.
Yeah. So, we just started school and we weren't dating. We didn't go out. And I met someone in my computer class right after school started, and he was like into me, and so I started dating him pretty quickly. And I remember seeing Jason in the student center, like where we were, like the food court probably, and I was with this other guy. His name was Jason too, so I don't want to get you confused. We'll just call him the other guy. And he, we had just been walking through at the same time, and my then boyfriend, he went his own way, but Jason saw us, and I could tell he didn't like that. He didn't like that I had already gotten another guy, and
I don't know. The only thing I remember is there was one time she's sitting up at one of the tables with
my friend Shauna,
and maybe one other person. Anyways, they're sitting there, and I don't know, for whatever reason I decided to go talk to him. So I got up, and it was one of those like long walks across where they can see me coming type thing. And I remember Shauna, look on her face was like, what are you doing here? Like,
you have no right to come over here and talk to
like,
her.
You know, that whole best friend.
She knew the story.
What are
she
you
knew.
doing here type of stuff. So
Yeah.
So anyways, then we started talking. I don't even know how we started dating again.
Well, yeah,
just
things
kinda
didn't
started
work
to-
out with the other guy. He got kind of like,
Whatever.
I don't know. I just stopped dating him and we started dating again. And, you know, it's just kind of, every time he would go home, he went to Alaska
We started
the next
communicating
summer.
better during the summers.
Yeah,
we
and-
did better.
So we did better the next summer. And then I remember the when he came back to school that second year, I remember coming over again. His birthday's in October, and so I brought him a present. And that was kind of like my thing to like get back into like dating again when school started or whatever. But it was more seamless. But I remember coming back. I don't think I had given you your present that time, but it was one of the first times I came back to your house. And well, he had moved into with his grandpa. His grandpa had a side apartment in his house, so Jason moved into that apartment that year. And so I came over to that apartment, and I think he didn't know I was coming over. And so I just kind of showed up, and he was like, oh, I'm kind of busy over on my grandpa's side of the house, but I'll be right back. And I don't know.
Oh, was that when my whole family was there?
Yeah. So I'm in his side apartment. Like,
So
you know.
I have trouble combining my worlds.
Yeah. 2 hours, friends. 2 hours. I sat.
You were 2 hours by yourself.
Yeah, I was sitting in your apartment for like 2 hours. And this is like before cell phones and like anything else for me to do.
So it's just a miracle that she stayed with me for 4 years of
Okay, but
dating.
get this. It was his grandma's funeral. And
That's
his whole
right, that's
family was
right.
there. His parents were there. His
She
sister
passed
was
away
there.
when I was driving through Canada, and so they told me the house we came out. So it was a funeral. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, I remember.
Didn't introduce me to his family the entire time they were there. Didn't have me come into the room. Like literally, like came back into the room. Oh, you're still here?
No, I think my sister was like,
No.
Oh, who's
no,
that?
No. I didn't get to go and meet your family. So I just left. I went home, and you went and finished doing your family thing. And that didn't like affect our relationship. But I was like, this guy has a hard time like combining these words.
I kept things separate.
Yeah.
But
So we just kind of kept dating. It was, you know, on and off, different things.
we had fun. You know, we're having fun at college. We had a lot of fun.
At one point, I knew I wanted to marry him, and I knew that he was having a hard time kind of commit. He had a hard time showing other friends that we were dating.
I wasn't ready to get married.
Yeah.
So I knew I cared about her and I liked her and everything, and I wanted to keep dating. I just didn't want to get married.
Right.
So
I had asked him at one point on a serious, like we'd been on a date and kind of having a serious conversation, and I had just said to him, if I were to ask you to marry me right now, what would you say? So when he didn't answer, that was it. That's when the last
there's
times we broke up.
There's a lot of pressure in Utah to get married really fast. And we so here's our little one.
You want to sit with us for a minute? Okay, go sit with Daddy.
And so I didn't care about that. I just wasn't going to get married if I wasn't ready to. So, but anyway, so we kind of broke up for a little while. We had fun, just different things off and on. And then we graduated.
We both were in the school business, so we got to graduate together. We got to walk together. His family came down from Alaska. Well, they were in Seattle at that point.
Yeah, they were in Seattle at that point. So we graduate. She moved down to Salt Lake. I wanted to be in the outdoor industry, so I was trying to meet up with different companies, get stuff down there. So I hung out in Logan for quite a while.
So at that point, 2 weeks after graduation, I ended up getting a job down in Salt Lake. So I called a friend of mine up and told her that I needed to try. I knew she lived down there, and I needed a roommate. And did she know of anyone? And she's like, "Well, I'm ready to move out. Let's just move in together. I have another friend." So all of a sudden, I have a new job. I have an apartment that I'm going to move into with my friend. And I packed up my bags and
my plan was to get a job, and I figured some of the companies I wanted were in Salt Lake, so I figured I'd be moving down there sometime too.
Yeah.
I just never panned out.
And he quickly learned that like I was moving on with my life, that we were still dating, but I was definitely like in the mode of I'm in a career now, and I'm moved out for the first time in my life. And yeah, he made lots of trips down to see me.
Yeah, I'd come down.
Yeah, he would come down almost every weekend.
Hang out, yeah.
Or I would come up to Logan and see him. there was a whole lot more commitment level once I had moved out. He would show up at the train station
surprise you with
surprise me with
flowers.
flowers, and we would,
That's
you
being
know,
romantic.
yeah, he was trying a lot harder once we got to that
After
point.
about 3.5 years.
Yeah. And
So then I moved up to Seattle area.
got a job
Got
up
a
here.
job, was working and everything. And then I still remember the moment we were in, what are you doing? Come on. We were in an Italian restaurant. I wish I could remember the names, but it's an awesome Italian restaurant in Seattle. If we can remember the name, I'll put it at the bottom or something. But super romantic, great food, total candlelight. And I remember sitting there and it just like,
I had flown in.
yeah, she flew up. And so I just remember thinking, it just hit me. I kind of knew it, but it finally hit me that, you know, I really wanted to marry her. And she even was like, what do you...
I immediately sensed that there was something different. Like his...
Sensed a movement in the force.
Yeah.
So, and then at that point it was like, yeah, you know, I see us getting married and everything.
Well, but he's not being romantic. He doesn't want to admit what he said, but in the moment, it was... He just suddenly looked up, and it was like out of nowhere. It was like not even part of our conversation. He just suddenly looked up and he says, "I have no doubt." And it was, to me, it was like my engagement. Like it was like
cool.
in that moment, it was like, okay, different level. Like it just changed from that moment on. So I knew that was our next step.
Yeah, no, it was,
for him
it was a
to
definite
propose
sort of thing.
and move toward that next step.
So then we were working toward trying to set up the engagement and everything. And I actually was I was going to fly down, and we're talking on the phone, and she's like, yeah, you better not come down and propose to me on April Fool's.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh crap, okay, yeah. Oh no, that's not happening. Even though I'm not one who pays attention to the time. So I had to reschedule when I proposed to her. I just bumped it to the next weekend. I flew down. I had all this idea of proposing and doing kind of a fun little thing on the doorstep of your house, because that was kind of our first date, and we always joked around about our first kiss and how it did or didn't happen to it. So I wanted to do it there, but her brothers were like acting like they were gonna make a big hubbub and like
Everyone knew it was happening that weekend.
It wasn't really a secret. Everybody knew we were gonna get married, kind of thing.
His mom and his sister had flown down for a different reason.
Yeah, they were down there for something else.
So they had gone to his grandpa's house where he was living at the time, and so he had picked me up at work in Salt Lake, and we had driven up to Logan.
Yeah.
And we had showed up to his grandpa's house and had gone in the front door knowing that his mom and sister were there. And so I just went in the front door, and his mom and sister were right there at the door when I walked in. They're like, oh, I want to see the ring. We're so excited. Has he proposed yet? And I'm like, no. Hasn't proposed yet. You just ruined it. So they...
What was the glove box thing?
Then, that was awkward. So then, we just kind of tinkered around the house for a little bit, talked to them, and then your grandpa had asked you to fix something in the garage, a doorknob in the garage. So he went into the garage to fix something.
Yeah.
And as he's working in the garage, I was kind of cleaning out his car, because he had driven down. And your car had stayed there. Anyway, so I was in his car, and I was like, oh, his glove box is broken. And I want to fix it really quick. It just needed a screw loose. And so I called out to him, and I said, hey, toss me a screwdriver, and I got to fix something. So he kind of handed me a screwdriver, and I went back into the garage, and I got in the car, and I went to open up the glove box. And it was like a movie moment. He's like in the garage, like, no, don't open the glove box. And I'm opening the glove box, and it's broken, so the whole thing like falls into my lap. And there's my ring in a box, sitting in his glove box. And I shut the glove box, and I went back in the house, and he's like, you saw it. And I was like, I'm not talking to you. And so I went into the house, and went into the bathroom, and all across the floor was the bag from the jeweler, the tissue paper, the warranty, the receipt, the gift packaging, like everything that came with my ring was sitting on the floor of his bathroom. And I
didn't expect you to go in there, but
yeah. So we just called it quits for that day. We just said, okay, there are too many things that have gone wrong and making this a surprise for me and a surprise for him to do for me. And so we just called it quits that night.
So yeah, and then
we just tried again.
Anyway, so we go out next night, whatever, and again, basically what we ended up doing is we drove to the little lookout point she took me to. And there when we talked and I, you know, pulled out the ring and asked her to marry me and, you know, and so it was a nice little moment.
Yeah.
Nothing is planned, which is the way our life goes.
Mm-hmm.
But
it took us back to that first moment.
yeah, it took us back to the first moment. It was nice.
Yeah.
And then that was April. And then we were married in August.
Mm-hmm.
And that was 15...
15 years ago.
Is this year going to be 16?
We're actually...
Is this year 15?
Mm-hmm.
What?
We're almost exactly 15 and a half years. This month is 15 and a half years from when we met.
So it'll be 16 soon.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
This year will be 16.
Wow.
So, that's our story.
That's our story. I hope
If you
like
have any
it.
more questions about us or anything, put a comment down below. And if you want us to do more videos like this, Q&A type things, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, and we'll bring back more stuff like this.
Maybe she'll let me come on again.
Maybe, if he's nice. All right. Have a good day, guys.